Yep. You good? All right, let's go. Is it open? Yeah? That's on? Oh, cool. Okay. Hi. Hello. Hi, guys. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but this is like the world of digital media. Sometimes things happen and you can't control and you have to kind of work through it. So that's what we've just done here. And I'm Tara, and hello, I'm not a scientist, and I'm just a girl who happened to start working in television, and I kind of started doing the social media thing for fun, and then one thing led to another, and here I am. And I'm going to kind of tell you my story and kind of give you guys another idea of how social media works and maybe give you, some tips and tricks. And this is just very basic, but if you want, we can talk about it later. So this is Social Media 101, how to get social without really trying. Just for some of you that don't know how to tweet, right here, you can start a new tweet that way. You can respond to people, you can retweet here, you can like things, and then here you can check your stats. So that's really cool. This workshop is kind of all about different kinds of social media, but I'm just using Twitter as an example. So who am I? Yeah, like I said before, I'm a TV producer, and basically this is your profile. So if you don't have Twitter or anything, this is what comes up, and there's lots of cool info in here. So I've got hashtags in here, which I'll explain later. But I'm a US TV producer, Aussie US TV producer, entrepreneur, travel space writer, now in Ireland for SSP 17. And I've done things called Around Ireland on a Pushy, which I'll tell you about, NASA Social, and Sentinel to Go. And that's my website. These are the followers. And everything I do, I kind of like to theme it. So every time I go somewhere interesting, I always make a new banner. And I'll show you a cool program where you can make cool banners essentially on your phone. So if you guys do have Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or anything like that, we're tweeting using SSP 17. We also have anyone out there who has a question, you can tweet in live, and you can basically ask the question live. We have someone monitoring. So if there's anything you want to know, just ask, and yeah. So that's that. So how did I get into this? I was kind of bored, and I was kind of on social media. I didn't really understand it. And then one day, I went to a NASA Social, and it's basically an event for social media bloggers, travel bloggers, anything, fashion designers. And you basically can go to a cool event and, hang on one second, and you tweet about it, and you write about it, and you blog about it, and you YouTube about it. And so this is how I got here with you guys. Like, this happened about 3.5 years ago. I saw a rocket launch. So this is the rocket launch. This actually scrubbed 2 times, and I had to keep coming back, which was kind of really cool. We got to see the Orion capsule and be on top of the VAB and everything, which was cool. I've also done stuff with ESA. I've been as regular press and reporting as social media press for NASA as well. And I've also been invited to cool things like the Deep Space Listening Array in Canberra. So I've kind of been all over just because of social media. So there's a lot of people on social media, Elon Musk, Brian Cox, they all have like thousands of followers and stuff like that. But they're actually not like influencers. So like the real influencers are actually Bill Murray. Actually, no, it's not Bill Murray. It's actually you guys. You guys are the real influencers. And let me show you what influencers are. So influencers are normal people who are often connected to key roles in media outlets, consumer groups, industry associations, or community tribes. So essentially, we can be influencers because we are a part of ISU. Or you can be an influencer because you're in a swim club, or you like going to the beach, or you go to the same restaurant all the time. Like that's what they mean as an influencer. So to start out to do this, you actually need the right gear. And I found this yesterday on my Twitter feed, and I thought it was brilliant. So it really helps if you have like an iPhone, because you can tweet very quickly, or an iPad, or you can use a laptop, or an Android, or whatever you want to do that sort of thing. You can also have cool toys like this. So right here, I've got the awesome selfie stick that everyone hates, but it's actually awesome. So I can pass that around if you want to have a look. There's also cool little tripods. So you can kind of, you know, put your phone in there and take photos. And I didn't bring everything with me. I also have like little lights, so you can play with that. But I think actually the most important piece of gear that you can have, just starting out, and like you probably already have one, is these. So I'll pass these around too. I've got 4 of them that I take with me every single time I go to a social, because I burn through the power on my phone quite quickly. So that's what I think is the most important thing. This one's actually the most hardcore one. You can get it from Ryanair. It's awesome. It's pretty cheap too. So now I don't want to scare you guys, but one of my friends who went to a NASA social, this is what he took. So you got the laptop, you got the 2 tripods, you got the digital recorder, the cameras, everything. This is what he took for reporting socially on social media. Now, you don't need to do this. It's all your personal preference. Like, you can just take your phone, and I've seen people do that, and that's cool. Or you can just take your laptop, but it's all in what you're comfortable with, and that's the beauty of social media. It's all in how comfortable you are, because it's you. So that brings me to find your platform. You need to be comfortable with what you're doing. Like, you seriously don't want to be this guy right here. You might be a great Facebooker, or you might be a great YouTuber, Instagram person, or like my thing is, my social media animal is Twitter. I love Twitter. I chat on it all the time. I put up cat photos all the time. Like, it's just great, and it's like my news feed as well. You make really great friends, but you don't have to be just restricted to one. I also have an Instagram account. I don't use it as often, but it's still there. I did dabble a little bit in Snapchat, but I actually hate it. But that's just my own personal preference. And I mean, you could be an absolute amazing Snapchatter. So you just need to find one that works for you. And then you just tell everyone about it. And this is what I did. So when I went to my NASA social, I just blogged about it because I loved it. And this is essentially what you're going to be doing. So how do you start to do this? Well, first you find a platform you enjoy, and make sure it fits who you are. And there's, who? Oh, hi. I'm about to get to you soon, so hold on. You're coming up. I'll tell you the story of Leah shortly. She's really cool. So yeah, you want to find something that fits your personality, like I was saying before. And then also what's really going to help you is if you follow other people that you're interested in, because they do things a little bit differently than you. Like, I'm a cat meme girl, you know? So, or I use a lot of GIFs in what I'm saying, and everyone is different. So I think it's really important to follow other people that are very similar. And then this is an important part, and I'm only going to touch on it, but I think it's one of the most important things, is you have to find your brand. So, like, what's a brand? Well, brand, it's actually you. It's who you are and who you want to be and how the people see you. It's also what you're selling. Like, we're all selling ourselves if you really think about it, you know? So these are 2 really great books, and they're awesome reads if you want to know more about branding. And I mean, it's not just yourself that you're selling. You could be selling a product as well, and how to sell it. But these books will kind of kickstart you into figuring out the brand. So if you don't know who you are yet, or who your audience is, you have to keep playing. Now, this is what I mean by playing. I put this up here because it's actually really important. Because when are we always on our phones? We're on the phone on the toilet. We're on our phone when we're bored at work. We're on our phone when we're in bed. And we're on our phone when we're traveling. Think about it. We really are. You just need to have fun with it, because that's when you're on it, and it's totally okay. Like, some of the best ideas you could ever come up with might be when you're on the toilet. I actually said that to Remco today. Because I had this great idea for a line. I said, oh, I'll come back, let me come back from the toilet. I came back and I gave it to him, and it was a perfect line. It was a toilet line. So don't be discouraged with coming up with weird lines, But that's where you're going to get your inspiration, when you're not doing the normal everyday thing. So really just play with it. Play with your account and have fun with it. So now I'm talking about launching and campaigns. Now, this is kind of like if you have a product and you want to sell it, and okay. So it's kind of like, the hashtag. We've got a hashtag. It's SSP17. We all know what that is, right? Summer Space Program 2017. That's what we use. That's what we're branded as. So when you're making a hashtag, and hashtags are really cool because it's an easy way for people to find you, you want it to be memorable and not just a brand name. Be cheeky with it, have fun with it, play with it. And I'll show you how to do that, and we'll kind of come up with some. You don't have to I wouldn't do crazy research. I wouldn't spend much time on it. I would actually go with your gut with anything that you're making, especially with marketing, because if you like it, then other people may like it too. And then you want to use it everywhere. So every single thing you tag, every single print you make. That's one thing I really hate when I'm going through a book and I want to tweet them and I can't find their Twitter handle and I can't find their hashtag. So put it on absolutely everything. Put it in your reports, if you want people to talk to you, just have it everywhere. It's just a really easy way to find you. So how can this hashtag tell a story? So you see this hashtag on the bottom called Around Ireland on a Pushy. That actually tells a story. You might not know it yet. Do you have any questions about that hashtag, what it means? Okay, so the first question was, what's a pushy? That's very interesting because every single place I went, or even online, people were asking what a pushy was. And a pushy is a bicycle. It's an Australian word for bicycle. So around Ireland on a pushy, what does that say? It means I was around Ireland on a pushy. So that's two thoughts, right? So what else? What other questions does this have? There was another question that people used to ask me a lot. That's it. That's the second question. So it's basically, I had two questions in here. So I had, why was I going around Ireland on a bike, and why Ireland? And any single time, anybody wanted to know anything, that was a question. So it was kind of, that told a story. And then that brings me to the proof of performance. So 9 months ago, I came to Ireland, and I cycled around Ireland on a pushy on a 3-month epic adventure that absolutely changed my life. And I basically told the internet I was doing it. I quit my job. I went online. I told as many people as I could that I was going on this adventure. If you really think about it, it's just a girl going on a holiday. I was just backpacking, right? Think about it. But for some reason, the entire country of Ireland, actually 4 countries, were interested. So it was first picked up by Love in Dublin. They're kind of like a blogging newspaper. No, not really a newspaper, they're online. They picked it up first because they saw one of my tweets. And then from there, The Independent picked up on it. And they did a couple articles, and they did a follow-up and everything. And it was funny because I was asking Ireland for challenges as well. So I basically said, let me try new things. So I fought as a medieval knight. I did, yeah. I did stand-up comedy. I did improv. Yeah, it was really cool. I went to black ties and red carpets and black tie events, and I was just the girl on the bike. And I would get stopped in the street all the time. But it took off. So I've since been on 38 or 39 radio interviews across 4 countries. I've had 8 newspaper articles, countless blogs, and podcasts, all because I told the internet and somebody read it and thought it was cool. So this is my proof of performance that social media is really strong. And I'm still doing interviews, which is kind of really cool. So there's lots of different ways that you can tweet. So you can live tweet, and a lot of you are doing it right now, and you're all using the hashtag SSP17. And then there's some people at home that are live tweeting and saying g'day and possibly asking questions soon. Or you can live tweet if you go to an event, like I was saying before, like a NASA social. You can find or make a hashtag. I had my luggage go missing, and I had a hashtag Tara's lost luggage. And it was really funny because people were like tweeting in that they saw my luggage on a bus driving down to Donegal, and like my luggage was doing a stand-up comedy at a venue. And then my luggage was visiting Peggy on the ISS. Like I had crazy, crazy tweets. It was a lot of fun. You can also join a Q&A, so SpaceX people use a hashtag and talk, or you can ask NASA during a live presser, which is kind of really cool. Or, well, another way to tweet is don't forget to use photos as well, and GIFs and all that crazy stuff, because like photos like this tell a story. So like I took this in Edinburgh, and this is basically where Harry Potter was written. So all these people would come from all over and write in the girls' bathroom only, not the guys' bathroom, about how much they love Harry Potter and everything. And like people just love that story. And that, I mean, it's like the behind the scenes. And like people want to know more about you. Like people are interested in you. So it's kind of really cool to give them that. And then you also want to show them your personality and that you're funny, you know? People love that stuff. And then there's lots of different ways, like tools you can use, because you are actually a content creator. So like this is so right. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Be original, you know. And that was made on WordSwag. So the photo or the print that you got in your email, I made that on WordSwag. I made it on my phone. It took me like 3 minutes to make it. So you can make cool stuff on your phone, sitting on the toilet, just like that. Like WordSwag, it's like $4, so it's kind of an investment. And then you have Canva, which is free. We're periscoping live now. And you know, you can also be a vlogger on YouTube. So like Peta did a beautiful piece today about his life here at SSP. So there's lots of different ways that you can create content and get it out there and tell people what you're doing. So like this was an ESA event. So you go to social media, they totally hook you up with power supplies so you can plug in your phone, which is really cool. They take you around, you live tweet like your experience there, and they have an epic event. And you can't help but just write about it. And I think absolutely everyone here, if you can, go to an event. It'll change your life, trust me. It's just amazing. And then I'm getting to Leah, because I was, this past weekend at the Space Up, I was talking about NASA Social and Social for Space. And it changed my life because I'm here in front of you, because I went to one of them, and now I just want to be in this industry. And I'm not a scientist, but I can sell it. I can speak it, you know? So that's why I'm here. And the cool thing with Leah is she went to NASA Social, and now she works there. She works in Houston. Yeah, so there you go. Like, it's kind of really cool. There's power in it. There's a lot of networking here. So I want to encourage you to tweet everybody, because like Elon posted something the other day. He said, Sydney is a beautiful city. And I responded back, have you checked out Vivid Sydney? It's this giant lights show in Sydney. It's amazing. And he tweeted me back, and that was really cool. So you can, like, I could have died. But my life was just perfect at that point. So you kind of get cool responses back. Or Tori Bruno from ULA. I said, hey, thanks for lighting up that gorgeous birthday candle today. You really know how to show how to spoil a girl, because there's a rocket launch. And he's like, you're very welcome, happy birthday. How cool is that? You've got access. You got to use it. Like, or this one was from the other day at the Dan Tanney lecture. Leyland Melvin, who was an astronaut, he responded back. So people are there. They want to talk to you. You just got to talk to them. So they can, but most of them don't. Not these guys. They like to tweet. So So that's pretty much, this is like bare bones. This is like just trying to get you interested into this stuff. So what kind of questions do you have?
What does it feel to be recognized by Elon Musk?
I was a very happy girl. I actually,
Question for the online group.
yeah, sure.
This question.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. Basically, when he was asking how I felt getting a tweet from Elon Musk, I wrote off the rest of the day. I had 3 hours left at work, and I was running around work going to all my workmates that don't know who Elon Musk is, saying, Elon Musk just tweeted me, oh my God. So, yes, it was Elon. Yeah, it was him. He tweets all the time, so, but he's... Is anyone else? Yeah.
Do you use syndication services at all to take one message and spread it across multiple?
No. I usually do it, like, I mean, I will use Hootsuite just to schedule things on occasion, but I don't really use the syndicated stuff at all because I find that one platform isn't designed for other platforms. So for instance, Instagram is not suited for Twitter. So I just kind of, every single one I just do on my own, really.
Syndicators don't have like a way to take a link to an article or something like that and put it in the right way that it would fit for each platform.
Yeah, okay, so the question was if the syndicators would work across platforms.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people take like an article,
Mm-hmm.
a blog or something, and then use Hootsuite or something like that to spread it across everything.
Yep.
But you said it doesn't fit.
Right, okay.
Like modify the way.
Okay, so the question is if I use a syndicate to get one message across multiple platforms. I actually don't because my audiences for Instagram is different than my audience on Twitter, is different than my audience on Facebook. So I copy and paste everything, but I tweak it for every audience. So they're just different people. Anyone else? So you asked how the book's coming along. Yeah, the book's good actually. I'm 3/4 of the way done, but life kind of happened and now I'm here and now I need to do this. So it's coming. I was doing some editing the other day. They're asking in reference because I went around Ireland on a bike and I've written a book. It's 3/4 of the way through. So that's what that question is for. Anything else? Surely there's another question. Okay. Yep, so the question is, do I use LinkedIn? I do and I don't. I find it a different audience, a very professional audience, so I'm not going to put cat memes sitting on the toilet on LinkedIn. It's just not my thing. I will occasionally not retweet, but share something, but it's mostly just my CV that's up there. And I essentially have that linked to my website CV. So I don't really use it. It's just a different audience. I'm a creative. My audience is essentially on Twitter, and yeah, my website and word of mouth. That's my audience for finding work. So I hardly ever use LinkedIn for what I do. Yes. What's the different content that I have across them? Is that what you're asking? Different audience. Okay. Yeah, I think my Twitter audience, I think it's very fascinating because it started out, I started out not knowing what I was doing. And I essentially had like 600 people when I went to NASA. And then it kind of blew up. And then, so I had a lot of science and NASA people. And then when I went around Ireland on the bike and the radio stations mentioned I was coming, it blew up to 2,000 people. So then I had a lot of Irish people following. And then it's since imploded and I think I've got like 13,000 people following, but I think they're mostly science and space because people can unfollow you as quickly as they follow you. So, but I think I'm doing something right because I keep getting followers, so. Yeah, and then I'm not really sure with my Instagram. I think they're mostly just like athletic people because I used to post a lot of selfies like me at the gym. It's true, but people like that. And I do a lot of travel photos as well, but not as many science photos. So mostly because I travel right as well, and I've got crazy stories. No, no. I mean, I will post, you know, if I'm on the radio or something, or just day in the life of type things. But it's not me tweeting 20 tweets in one day about being at SSP, you know? I've done a few like cool images, but nothing really too big on Instagram. And then Facebook, I don't really put much on, but I do have a blog and I write about crazy adventures and crazy cool space stuff that I've done on the blog. So that's actually what kicked this all off, because I had a blog and I was traveling around. So yeah, any other questions? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the question was, how did I find my social media personality? It was basically, I started out as a trial and error. I didn't know what I was doing really. I was just kind of winging it and just I was mostly just retweeting things because I didn't understand Twitter at all. But then one day, when I think it was like, I don't know, I was in like South Australia or something, and I nearly got murdered at Iron Knob or something, and I just like tweeted about it, and I noticed that people really liked the comedy and the crazy stories. So I just kind of showed more personality in who I was, and that's when I noticed that, hey, people actually like me. So I kind of kept that going, and I pushed the envelope because I figured I didn't have anything to lose. So I just went for it, and like I've gotten away with total like, you know, retweeting images of Bill Murray or like just crazy stuff, you know. And I guess people like it because it's kind of fun. But I think you just need to think about it. Like if you're a business, you need to find who you are as a business, as a brand first. Like that's the most important thing, because if you think about it and you're a brand, you only have one shot. You can do relaunches, that's great, but it's going to be hard for people to get that brand out of their mind first. So I think you want to be really smart about it, and then you plan like the entire campaign. And I mean, that's like that's a whole marketing thing. And I'm happy to talk to anyone about that later. But yeah, personal preference is very different than a business, I think. What's really cool is if you look at like Wendy's versus KFC or something, they're always like tweeting back and forth, and it's funny. Like you should really check it out. It's like it's Wendy's and Arby's, I think, because that's actually really interesting because they just trash talk each other the whole time, and it's absolutely worth following. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah. Sponsorship. Yeah. Okay, so the question was about sponsorship, and if I get any. Well, I don't get any now, but when I went around Ireland on a bike, I basically just asked people if they were interested in sponsoring. And everyone but 2 bicycle companies said no. So I did all right. And I think the thing with that is if you want sponsorship, you start small and you work your way up, because when you get the little companies on board, the big companies go, oh, well, she's got sponsorship, so yeah, we'll give her that. So like, if you go to the pub here in Cork, my bike hangs in the Rising Suns Brewery. And if you look on the sides of the bike, I've got 2 yellow panniers from Overboard panniers. And then also the helmet in the front of the bike was actually given to me as well. So you just have to ask. I had like shirts, I had cool motivational shirts, like I had a TomTom action cam on it and everything. So the opportunities are there. Like you can get sponsorship, you just need to ask. And I think people are too afraid to ask. So, any other questions? Have there been any questions from the web that are interesting?
Yes, thanks for creating from the section.
That's great. Anything else? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. I do and I don't. Okay, so the question was, do I ever feel like I'm oversharing? I always pull back if I don't want to talk about it, or if I'm going on a holiday and I just want to go off the grid. And there's nothing wrong with that. And like sometimes people will tweet you because they actually care about you, and they'll say, hey, are you okay? We haven't heard from you in a few days. I'm dead serious. Like people actually care. I actually face planted into a car in Cork 9 months ago when I was on my bike, like totally face planted, fell off and everything, and everybody wanted to know how I was. So people do care, but you don't have to, you know, if you don't want to say anything, you don't have to. You can tweet as much as you want or as little, but you just have to realize that it's always going to be on the web. Yeah. Okay, the question was, what's the limits between the professional and private side? I think for what I do, I'm a TV producer, I'm a creative, I show my personality. So I'm very lucky that I live in a very different world. Some people like that, you know, some people can get away with it. For me, I do, but you know, I don't know. I think it's all based on the person and the business and what you want to be and what your brand is, because we are all a walking brand. Like the clothes we wear and the things we read and the things we eat, that's our personal brand. It's what makes us. So it depends on you, I think. So, anyone else? Yeah. I I think it depends. I think it depends on who your audience is, really, because I find I prefer. So, okay, the question was, what business would be like? What's good for a business platform? I think it depends. I like Twitter, for instance, like when I'm flying, because I like basically American Airlines lost my luggage, so I tweeted them, and I got my luggage back straight away. So I think it all depends on who you are and what you want. I mean, you could have an insurance company on Facebook and they'll write stuff, but I think it's what you're most comfortable with, because I don't really have an answer. Yeah, I guess it depends on who's following. Yeah. Um, I, okay, the question was, do I use top hashtags to increase my visibility? No, I like to play, I like to be involved with what's going on. So like you'll see on Mondays, there's like Monday motivational and people post motivational things. I don't really participate in those, but if there's something that I believe in and I like we had a space up, so we got it trending on Twitter just because we wanted people to know about it. We retweeted it and it was great. You know, I think I wouldn't say that I like join in, but I like to be a part of things. So, yeah. No. Okay, so the question was, do I Google the most famous one to find out what's going on? Well, actually, Twitter tells you, so you can go into your Twitter account and find. I can kind of show you. So if you go into your Twitter account, you can go into see the trends. You can go into your trends here and see what's trending in Cork. Or if you go into here, so let's see. So here are all the Cork trends on the left-hand side. Wow, I got 91 notifications already just from the start of this. How cool is that? But yeah, that's the way you can check them in here on the left-hand side. So, and then you can respond. Yeah. Okay, the question was if I think Twitter is falling out of favor. Absolutely not. We have a president in America that tweets constantly, and the media eats it. There's no way. Absolutely not. I think it's on the rise. I think Twitter is fantastic. It's my favorite thing on the internet. I love it. I think it's amazing. So I don't see it going away anytime soon. I think people are getting on it, talking. You know, it's a great way to connect with people. Yeah, you get instant responses straight away. It's really cool. Like that Elon tweet. Boom, 2 seconds later. And then my whole entire day was a write-off just because Elon tweeted me. It was amazing. So, anything else? Yeah. I think, okay, the question is why I think Twitter is different. I think Twitter is quite a strong, smart medium. I think there's a lot of bright, interesting people on it, posting great content. It's like you only have 140 characters to put something out there, so you have to do really good copywriting, and then they put a link in there to really good content, and it's all on who you choose to follow. So you can follow people that aren't interesting, or you can follow people that are really interesting. So, like Elon. But yeah, I think it's a really smart medium because you can control who you follow. Anyone else? Yeah. hmm Okay, so the question was, I guess, how do I interact with people and keep them interested? I just tell people about my day, or cool things that I find, or behind the scenes, or like I remember being at NASA at the Orion, you know, capsule, and I took a step back because everyone was standing there in the front, and nobody had seen what it looked like from behind, and you can just see like this line full of press. So I looked for different things and different ways to show people what's going on, like behind the scenes, you know, or interesting things, or things you would never think about, you know, just like funny things, or like, oh look, I've got 2 different socks on today, you know. It's a whole range of things that people like, and that's how I have a following. Yeah. Do I have a favorite tweet that I've tweeted myself? Oh gosh, that's a really good question actually. Oh, I should have mentioned this. I was going to give this out to the person that had the best question. And I actually think that's the best question. Sorry, Remco, I know you wanted it. But it's a 3-in-1 lens set, so there you go. You come to fun lectures like this and you get cool stuff and koalas and chocolate. There you go. Gosh, I think it's when I totally nail a pun, or I find a really great meme or something. That's when I'm really stoked and happy, and like that's my favorite probably. But I don't really have like a favorite tweet that I've done, even though the Elon tweets are amazing. So yeah. Anyone else? Yeah. Okay, so the question was, how often should you be on a platform if you don't have a specific thing you're promoting? Is that right? I think it's up to you. I think this is the beauty of social media, because if you really think about it, we're actually like citizen journalists. So I think you can tweet as much as you want or as little as you want, and it's totally cool. You don't have to like binge tweet or live tweet, or you don't have to do that. It's all up to you and what you want and what your viewership likes. So they might like the fact that you tweet your different colored socks every day, you know, and they just follow you for that, and they have alert for that. Like that's kind of really cool. I think it's really up to you and what you want to put out there. Okay. So the question is, how do you know what to tweet for your audience if you're not really tweeting? Well, I think that's an interesting one, because Elon doesn't really tweet a lot, but he's got a following because of who he is and what he does. So I think you could go that way. But if you're someone like me, it's kind of like my audience likes it when I do tweet a lot. So that's why I just do it. So if you're not tweeting, then you might not get an audience because of who we are. Because we're just people. We're just normal people. So we're not an Elon Musk or a Bill Nye, you know. Does that make sense? That's just my own personal belief. Anything else? Any burning questions or?
Is asking how can we transport social media in a global platform of knowledge?
What was the last word? You say.
Knowledge.
Can you say it out again?
Knowledge.
No, the whole tweet. I mean, the whole.
How can we transport social media in a global platform of knowledge?
Knowledge. Knowledge. Camilla's from Colombia. We love him. That's a good question. I don't have an answer. I don't know. Maybe if we just keep retweeting cool things, you know? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Sorry. Yeah. My My favorite. Okay, I think the question was, what's my favorite social media platform? Or the oh gosh, future. Okay, so you want to know futurism for social media. I actually really like Periscope. I think that is the way to go. I think Periscope's really cool. It's instant broadcast, it's citizen reporting, but it already exists. I haven't thought of anything that I would want right now. I'm just really happy with what I've got. So, yes? Okay, the question is, how do you make money on Twitter? Well, I'm not really sure about Twitter. I mean, some people will pay you for tweets once in a while to retweet things, to write things. There are people that will do it to wear shirts. Like if you wear a certain shirt and you retweet it, people will pay you or give you the shirt, or to actually use their content. So I have a friend, Winston, who actually makes things by hand on this big giant wood thing, and they gave him that to just make stuff. He makes how-to videos, and then he retweets them on Twitter. So there's like lots of cool ways you can do it. I mean, it's mostly bartering. You don't really get paid. The market isn't there to make money out of this yet. It's really hard to make this out, like as a living, just to be a tweeter, unless you're like a Kardashian. It doesn't really work that way. So unfortunately, but I do find the beauty in being like the citizen reporter. I always wanted to be a reporter, and now I actually am, and I'm actually doing it on my terms. I'm not doing it for like a company. And that's what I really appreciate, because I can go and do cool things like this and report on this, or go to a NASA social, or go to some kind of event, and I get to report. Yeah. Okay, the question is, do I have a substantial following on Snapchat? No. I tried Snapchat for a bit. You can't really even find like how many followers you got. You can kind of see sometimes how many views you have, but I just don't, it takes too long to open up. It's too cheesy. I don't like it. I would Snapchat, like, for instance, I had a company give me 9 loaves of bread because I tweeted to Ireland that I liked bread. And they mailed me 9 loaves of bread to a radio station in Wexford. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I have to tweet about it and Snapchat it. And so I just Snapchatted me tasting all the cool bread. And yeah, my viewership saw that. But that's really the last time I use it. I just don't like it. It's not for me. Okay. Yeah, so the question is, do I recommend people tweet using the link from Twitter to Facebook and vice versa when doing it? No, I wouldn't recommend that, because your Facebook audience may be different from your Twitter audience, and Twitter you can write more. And mm-hmm. Yeah. Do I do not cross-promote between Twitter and Facebook at all. I don't cross-promote between anything. I don't like to. I like to just keep my Twitter audience separate than my Instagram audience and my Facebook. But I mean, I'll have the same message. I'll just tweak it. Like I might write more in my Facebook post, or I might write more in my Instagram post, But that's about it, really. So, oh, it's gone offline. Does anyone else have any more questions? Because if you don't, oh, yeah? Oh, crafting a story for blogging. Do I have any tips for crafting a story for blogging? Oh, gosh, maybe this should be like another session, because I can talk about this forever. I always look for the hook. This is like the bare bones of it. I always look for the hook in everything. Like, what's the most interesting thing that happened? So, for instance, I was just in Tübingen, Germany, and I went surfing on the Nectar River. As an Australian, that's no big deal, but as a German, everyone's staring at you. So my hook was that, like, it was just weird, So I just wrote about that experience. So I always look for like crazy little hooks in everything. Anything else?
What would be the social media event you would like the most to cover?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. What? Okay, so Periscope wanted to know what social media event would I most like to cover. Yeah. Oh, hi guys. Well, I am going to IAC this year. I'm really looking forward to going to that. I'm really, really looking forward to go to that. And I'm basically going to live tweet the entire time I'm there. So that's probably the most anticipated event in my life. Yeah, after SSB. Yes. If that's it, then I guess I'll close it. Do I have what? No, sorry. So, yeah. Lessons learned. Have fun. Really have fun with it. They're real people out there. I mean, there are some crazies, and that's cool. And you just block them. That's all you have to do. I mean, I did have crazy stalkers when I was in Galway following me around and sitting in front of me when I was trying to have lunch. It did happen. But you just kind of, they're real people too. Like, I've met so many cool people just because I was on Twitter. And it was like we picked right up where we left off on Twitter. And we're friends because of it. I mean, I know Remco, and I knew him from Twitter, and he seems pretty all right. So, yeah, you do, actually. So I think it's fair to say that there are normal people on Twitter, and it's not scary old internet anymore. So I guess that's about it, really. And I mean, I'm happy to talk about this stuff at any time because I absolutely love it, and it is a life changer. It absolutely, totally changed my life, and I hope this kind of gave you something else to think about. It's very basic. There's like a whole another world out there, and I'll be happy to talk to you guys later about it if you want. But yeah, that's the basics. So that's it. Thank you. And I've got these as well. So if anybody wants chocolate, because you all have been so wonderful.
Thanks, Darren.